Why do we love to hate watch movies and TV shows so much? And that is a question that I asked myself a few days ago, and I finally decided, why don't I make a video on it? Morticia. So to get started on this topic, please excuse my kitten. Her name is Morticia. I've not filmed a video in front of her before, like this anyway, and she's very energetic. So if she appears in and out of the video, I apologize for that, but you get to admire her cuteness. I decided to do an in-depth research type video on this topic. So here we are. To get started, we first need to understand, and we first need to know when this term hate watch first appeared. And according to my research, the New Yorker critic Emily Nussbaum is believed to have coined the term hate watching back in 2012 when she wrote a piece about the show Smash, which, according to the BBC, is a much hyped drama that takes place behind the scenes of a Broadway musical. And so that is where, according to several sources, including the BBC, Wikipedia, MacmillanDictionary.com. Midnight, please stop. According to all of them, and several others, including Vox. According to all of them, all of their sources track back to that 2012 article about Smash. Now, why do we love to hate watch stuff? There are several shows that people love to hate watch, along with certain movies. According to the subreddit r/television, user you can't pause toast on subreddit r/television asked 9 months ago, what shows did you hate watch? Shows you hated so bad that you had to watch to see if it could make you hate it more. That user said that they personally hate watched Invasion because it was so painful to watch. An astronaut floating in the vacuum of space swam back to her ship, and the show A Million Little Things. They said that the show was so bad, every character was insufferable. And they had several people respond to their questions saying that most of these answers actually all tie back to two certain shows, or at least most of them do. The shows Riverdale and Shameless, the US edition. One person said, I don't know anyone who watches Riverdale who isn't hate watching it. I made it pretty far and can't believe it's still going. I stopped watching after Luke Perry's death. They said that about Riverdale, and somebody else said about Shameless, the US edition. Karen and Sheila were always amazing. Mickey and Mandy were almost always great. From season 8 after, everyone did essentially nothing, and for most of them, the last 2 to 3 seasons before that were just making shit decisions. That show was so good in the early seasons. I hope Jeremy Allen White finds another big role sometime soon. Emily in Paris is another popular one that people hate watch because, according to several YouTubers on here who did a lot of video essays, they said that Emily in Paris the writing was terrible, the costume department was absolutely atrocious, and even some of the casting choices were not that great. So that show actually ended up being number 1 on Netflix trending for a while. And a lot of people tie that back to hate watching because if you look on Twitter and YouTube, there's nothing but negative things being said about that show. According to BuzzFeed, they did a poll and asked the BuzzFeed community to tell them about shows that they hate watch. Some answers were Glee, Orange is the New Black, The Vampire Diaries, Big Brother, Money Heist, Friends, Pretty Little Liars, Selling Sunset, Grey's Anatomy, a whole ton of reality shows like the Desperate Housewives and The Bachelor or The Bachelorette. A lot of people tend to hate watch Say Yes to the Dress, which I don't understand why. I personally think that's a great show. Once again, Riverdale comes up. 13 Reasons Why is another show that comes up if you ask people about shows or movies that they hate watch. If you ask any viewer of the show why did they watch it, a lot of them will tell you that the first season they watched that because it was a book to show adaptation. They will even tell you that it should not have gone past season 1 because there's only one book, but they somehow pulled it out to, I believe it was 5 seasons. Everything that I have seen about it says that the writing just goes downhill, character development is awful, and they try to redeem some irredeemable characters. And they make Hannah Baker out to be this awful villain of sorts, according to what I have read. I took it upon myself to do a little bit of personal research outside of looking at sources like these. I put out a tweet on Twitter asking people if they have ever hate watched a movie or TV show to reply to my tweet, and I got 3 responses. So I asked those 3 people what they hate watched and why. One of the people I talked to requested that I keep them anonymous, so I'm going to respect that. And I'm going to read their response. They said most notable one was when me and my friend hate watched that Noah Centineo movie Swiped on Netflix. It was 2 a.m. and we both wanted to have a good laugh, which we did. And I asked my friend Faith, Rosie, her that same question, and she said I hate watched Voltron, got attached, and then it ruined my life. Also Troll Hunters. I still love that show, I just watched them because I was asked to. I still hate watch Miraculous. It's genuinely the worst show ever, but I feel like I just have to see it through at this point. It's gone on for too long. And finally, my friend Rain, I asked them the same question, and she responded, The Teacher on Hulu. I hate watched it because it was incredibly popular at the time and I wanted to see if they could accurately portray grooming. I liked the idea of a teenage boy being the victim rather than a woman because we rarely see that in TV shows when it's more common than people think. I ended up hating it and it made me sick. If you would like to follow either Faith or Rain, this right here is Faith's username, and this is Rain's. Please follow them. I love them so much. They're awesome people. I personally hate watched 13 Reasons Why. I hate watched the 2nd and 3rd seasons. That's really the only one that I can think of. I mean, I know that quite a few YouTubers on here hate watched the 365 Days trilogy, as well as The Kissing Booth, all of those movies. And most of the reasoning behind it is they wanted either a good laugh, they wanted to make themselves irrationally angry, or they were just curious and hated what they'd seen, but they were too far in, so they wanted to see it through to the end. And that's typically what a lot of people say when they hate watch something. They either get pulled in too deep and they want to see it through to the end, or they just want a good laugh. That's actually kind of understandable. Something can be so bad it makes you laugh, or you pull yourself in too far and you can't pull yourself back out. I hope you enjoyed this. If you did, please be sure to hit the like button and subscribe. Turn on the bell icon so that you know when I upload next, whenever that may be, and I will see you next time. Bye. Fear on your face, it gives me a